she did them, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, and I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, and tell her, please stop taking them. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, is she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people who never seen her.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of The Sopranos are dead now.
I had my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. Never, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
By 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. The damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So, if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change, and for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And so, if you want a new life and start a new journey of a lifetime, you've come to the right place. You want to drink? That's your business. You want to stop drinking? That's our business. Welcome to Recovery Tube.
Hey guys, sorry I didn't put myself on screen quick enough. I love that intro. I really do. Brings back a lot of good memories from some of those shows also. So I saw Pat mentioned why are there 2 notifications or whatever. Well, I'm trying this vertical and horizontal. Probably won't work. I don't even know if I hashtagged the right things, but I figured to try to grow the audience. Maybe we could get into some algorithm, Doesn't look like it's going to work. If it doesn't, that's fine. But just figured I'd give it a shot. So it's good to see all you guys. Let me see here. The Saxon, Sally, Sabrina Merrick, Pat Travellino, Tom Sheehy. It's always good to see you, Tom. Michael Hensley, we love you more. Bathy Crazy. What does that mean? Marxist. What does that mean? David Sullivan. Hello. And Ward. I shout out War. I think that's it. Yeah, I think I already shouted out War. Anyway. So, all right, guys, listen, I wanted to do one of these today because from now on, if I don't have a MobTube show to do, I'm just going to try to do an addiction and recovery show, and I really don't have anything good. I'm not going to waste anybody's time with a bullshit show and then, expect money out of it. So I'm not I'm not going to do one of those today. I'm going to do this instead. And hopefully it'll be a good show. HGT Dana, $9.99 FBS. Thanks for this. So many people need it. Thank you, Dana. That's very, very sweet of you. Thank you for the $9.99. Yeah, I'm trying to do what I promised I would do right after my mom passed. I want to try to do these once a week now. And I think the last one I did was 9 days ago, but I'm doing my best. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we're doing this tonight. It's a weekend too, you know. This time I want to ask you guys how you're doing. So please let me know if you want to share anything. Please let me know. I got some stuff I want to talk about, but I'm going to wait until later. There's stuff I won't talk about on a MobTube show. Because right away it'll be said, oh, he's sad fish and he's looking for donations. No, these shows, you know, you never have to donate on these shows. I'm not going to stop you if you do. But I just speak openly here. And unfortunately, I can't do it on the MobTube channel, even though it's the same people, because then, you know, they'll still say some bullshit, but whatever. Pat Travelino, I hope so, man. Thank you. Happy Saturday, Jane Creek. I don't see you often anymore, I feel like. I still have that pic of your mom. I literally look at it all the time. She was so beautiful. Thank you, Dana. Thank you very much. I have that picture still. I look at it sometimes. Believe it or not, guys, Dana had a picture of my mom, I think, before anybody did, you know. I took a picture of my mom holding one of the things Dana sent her, and she was so happy that night. She was so excited. She loved getting stuff from you guys, but especially those things from Dana. They're sitting right over there, too, Dana. I got to rehang them since I painted. But anyway, I want to see how you guys are doing. What's going on? Listen, I'm going to tell you about my situation later on. Like I said, yesterday I mentioned on the show, I didn't get great news yesterday. I didn't get great news. You know, I expected better than what my results were. But, you know, it's just the way it goes, you know. I was pretty depressed after I got the results and stuff, but I'll talk about that later on. First, I want to see where your guys' heads are at. And hopefully we'll get some new people in here. I don't know. We could talk about anything addiction or recovery related, guys. Anything you'd like. Oh, wait. I got the wrong thing running down here. Hold on, guys. I got to go right. There you go. There you go. National Addiction Hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Nobody wants to share anything, huh? Jesus. Anybody feel any cravings, temptations lately? Because I know I have. Boy, have I. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes you get to the point where it's like, would it even matter? But I know it would, you know. If I was all by myself, nah. But not with the family, you know what I mean? But there are times, man, holy shit. I'd like to get a bag of Coke and just snort it like a vacuum cleaner right down my throat. And, of course, a bottle of liquor would be nice, but you shared where, Michael? Let me see. Released to a halfway house. Oh, wait. I need to get my buddy that just got out of the feds after 10 years on here. I helped him with money, his whole sentence, and got him a job with my company once he was recently released to a halfway house. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I would love to have him on, bro. Anytime. Anytime. Tell him he could stay anonymous, whatever he wants, you know. People in situations have had me a bit twisted. How so, War? I know some of the stuff you go through, but I know you don't have an easy life. Unfortunately. 6.5 years sober and going strong. You, Ronan? Me too, bro. Well, June will be 7 years. It's not that kind of show. What's your name? Andre. I do other types of shows on this channel. This is an addiction and recovery show only. So if you have addiction issues or you ever did, feel free to hang out. If not, we'll talk about politics next politics show. It's kind of a cool thing we got going on here, you know? So what's going on, War? I don't want to get into my thing, right away, but I'm feeling pressured for something to talk about. Should I or should I not? Anyway, well, I will. Fuck it. Jennifer, good to see you too. And you guys just feel free to share in the comments. And when I'm done, I'll read your comments and we could talk about whatever. Hold on, buddy. We both known you think you want a bag of Coke or a bottle of whiskey, but the second it hits you, you will regret it. And the only reason you will continue is that feeling which tells you everything. Oh, I know. That's what keeps me going, and sober and clean, because I know what my life will be like afterwards. Even if I could get away with it once or twice, I'll be in a position again where I need shit, and it's the worst feeling in the world to need some substance just to feel normal or just not to be sick, He had a great life, got caught up with serious drugs, and it cost him majorly. Well, he's got a second chance now, Michael. I wish him luck. Locatina TV. I quit weed. It was hard for me to quit, but I quit. I found it to be addicting. It's not good. I give you credit for that, because a lot of people, believe me, I always say this. I've never been a weed guy. I smoked weed like 7 times in my whole life. I hated it every fucking time. I don't even know why I did it. Sometimes to come down from Coke, whatever. But a lot of people who smoke weed, they're some of the worst addicts I've ever met. I mean, they got to smoke trees every fucking day from morning until night. They can't even drive without smoking. It's unbelievable. So I'm glad to hear you did that, because a lot of people don't see it as a real addiction. They say, it's just weed. I'll just keep doing it, But it still takes from you. It takes time. It takes money. If you ask me, it takes brain cells. The people that pretend to be your friend or have you at your back, why are they always the first to sell you out, gossip, and spread half-truths to try to destroy someone who is? Well, I'll tell you this, War. I know you got to finish your comment, but friends are the most dangerous people in the world. Our enemies ain't got shit on our friends, because you don't let enemies get close to you. But friends you do. You tell them things, you share your life with them to some extent. And there's a lot of jealousy and things that go on that make people change on you, and you don't know what they're going to do next. My first day inclination is to want to embrace the person I used to be. What do you mean your first day inclination? Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't want to embrace the people we used to be. It's not a good idea. I reject the person I used to be. It scares the shit out of me. I have fucking nightmares all the time thinking about the knucklehead shit I did, man. Not just with addiction, but mainly, if I could have my time back and have a second chance, my God, the things I would do differently. Oh man, it would be, a lot of damage could be undone or prevented, but that's what we got to deal with when you get clean and sober. It's like, now I'm making the choice to suffer with all the shit I did while I was using. But even though using makes it easier, because you can kill that pain and kill those thoughts, you're just going to do more damage. The longer you use, you got to stop eventually. Sendo Justice up, man. What's up, bro? You from the politics shows? When the people that say they're there for you and do what they do, bro. Oh yeah, I know. That's the one of the biggest disappointments in life is friends betraying you. Is that right, Michael? How old were you when you started? I kind of wish I could say the same, or I wish I could just say, well, I dabbled when I was a kid and that's about it, but unfortunately not. You quit 8 years ago? Oh, good for you, brother. That's awesome to know. It's funny because there's not many people that can say that. I always say on these shows, I heard someone say once, there's no such thing as an old heroin addict. And I knew what they meant right away, because the relapse rate has got to be like 90%. I mean, it's just everybody that's ever described it to me has told me that it never leaves your thoughts. Heroin, once you're clean, never leaves your thoughts. Thank you. Same to you, brother. Thank you. My struggle probably wasn't as bad as yours, but I had alcohol, alcoholism. So the withdrawal from that is pretty fucking miserable. But I know heroin, there's got to be nothing else like it. I've seen shit, that just blows my mind. Like, I don't know. The shit I've seen people do for it and everything else, wild. It's a shame. It's taken so many good lives too, and this fentanyl shit now, Think about all the potential that was wasted in so many people. I know guys that were in the military that they were, they did well for themselves in life. They fought for their country. I know people that were brilliant at a very young age, and I know people that were athletes, every fucking thing, and they start with this horse shit, heroin or whatever, and this is decades ago. They make it a while, and then fentanyl comes around, and I've lost a lot of fucking people because of it. Because fentanyl is just, I was looking on Facebook yesterday, and I saw this girl Sierra that I used to work with, and there were so many times I had to drive to this girl's house because I couldn't get a hold of her, and I knew she was getting high, and I was never with her. We had no kind of relationship. She was just a very good friend that I worked with. And I can't count the amount of times I drove to her house frantic, pounding on her door until she woke up because I thought she OD'd. And I haven't spoken to her in years. And yesterday I saw her on Facebook, and she had a post from a couple of days ago. And I said, wow. I mean, it's literally a miracle. It's a miracle. Some people, they start with the fentanyl shit, or they don't even know it's in their dope and they die right away. Some people never kills them. Yeah, it's very hard to quit because I have negativity and pain bashing me constantly. Oh, I feel you, bro. Me too, man. Me too. Mike, finally you agree with me? Well, if you're a politics guy, and Rick Young, you could chill out too. This is just an addiction and recovery show. I want to do these shows once a week. I used to do them once a week. I kind of took a break, and now I'm starting to get back to them. So no need to trash talk anyone or fight or argue about politics. It's just if you've ever struggled with addiction, or you're in recovery, or you're struggling now, or somebody you love has struggled, then join the conversation. But nobody starts H without a broken mind. You think so? Think people are already broken? Because it seems like some people, they thought they could try it. They had the right, the right idea about life, the wrong idea about heroin, Maybe he likes the way he looks with his bald head. He's not a fucking cowardly little cox like Donald Trump. Guys, chill. It's all good. No, Rick Young is right. I need to get some Rogaine. He's correct. I could take bold jokes. Guys, believe me, not a day passes that I don't think how nice it would be to have hair again. Motherfucker. Thank you, Soto. Thank you, brother. Rick Young, I was addicted for years, and the doctor took my addiction away from me by taking the pills away. Really, Rick? So you never went to the street to get the pills? Like once he cut you off, you stayed clean after that? That's impressive, to say the least. Looking good with no hair, buddy. You're rocking it. Thank you, my friend. I think besides the eventual person who tries, I think it takes extreme PTSD and stuff to make you want to do H. I could see where you're coming from on that. I can only imagine. Yeah, I'll tell you about one time with me. There was only one time I was close. And I had these neighbors. I lived in a hood, basically, right? I had these neighbors. There were two white girls. They were lesbians. One of them was smoking, though. Her name was Jasmine. And she used to walk around her crib naked and shit. It was great being her neighbor. Anyway, they were hardcore dope addicts. Jasmine's girlfriend, whose name I don't remember because she wasn't hot, she actually OD'd. Like, our porches were connected. I came outside on my porch with my daughter one day, and there she is in the chair, needle in her arm, overdosed. They came and gave her Narcan and, brought her back, but still. So one night I was so fucking coked up out of my mind that I ran out of alcohol. And anybody who knows, when you're coming down from cocaine, or you're still going strong, and you don't have any alcohol to bring you down or to knock you out so you can sleep, it is pure misery. It is the worst type of torture I can fucking imagine. And I was so desperate one night, I hit these girls up and I was like, listen, you got liquor, you got something. And of course, heroin addicts, if they know a guy has a little money or something, they always want to try to get him going. So then they can, especially chicks, she's like, oh, we can milk this guy. We can have him buying dope every night. We'll just get high off of him. So the girl was like, I can get you a bag if you want. And I was so fucked up. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll try anything. And I gave her the money, and her and her girlfriend went. And when they got back, they called me and said, come over. We got it. And I said, luckily at that point, I said, no, you just keep it. I don't even want the money back. Just keep it. I'm good. And thank fucking God, because and with my personality, my addictive personality, I would have been a full-blown heroin addict in about 12 hours. I was hooked on pain pills, rehab in October 2011. Been clean ever since. Has not been easy. Really? Wow. Since 2011, though. That's pretty good, man. 15 years. Congratulations. Yeah, pain pills, I couldn't imagine, guys. I have no experience with them, you know. I got Percocet once, and I sold them. I got it for a surgery I had. I was always afraid to take them, but I can't even imagine what you guys struggled with, being addicted to them. You save approximately $900 annually on haircuts. See, now there's the silver lining right there. There's a positive guy. He's an optimist. Thank you, sir. Henry, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but thank you. I just got off the Fent 2 years ago, started on Perks and Oxy, then H and then Fent. Really? Perks and Oxy. So let me guess. I'm going to assume, did you get the Perks and Oxy off the street, or did you get prescribed them and then do what most people do? You know, once you get cut off or something, you move on to heroin. I'm curious. Because most people I talk to that started out on pills and then went to heroin or fentanyl, they were prescribed it. You know, they had no intention on getting addicted to anything. You know, but congratulations, bro. Hope this dude quits smoking those cancer sticks. Me too, bro. And trust me, after the news I got yesterday, I really have no choice now. I told Shannon last night, I said, well, it's time to quit smoking. I can't do it no more. Of course, I might smoke on this show. Relax, I'll quit, but not today. Yeah, war. I know that H is that off button that could take both my back pain and worry and flashbacks. Take my back pain away and worry and flashbacks. When I quit, I had every single damn flashback ever, worse than the rebound back pain. Really? Well, you did it anyway, though. I got to give you credit. Man. That's fucking great. Because a lot of people, they just say, fuck it, I'm getting high, you know? I can't even tell you how many times with the coke and the alcohol where I'd have that cocaine and alcohol hangover where you just want to die. And I fucking promised myself that was it. That's it. I'm done. And then the withdrawal kicks in or the thoughts come back. Because a lot of us do drugs and drink to kill the thoughts, right? I mean, I have bad days all the time just from things I've done in my past. Except now I've learned to handle it clean and sober. Back then, it was just easier to get high or start drinking again, you know? Brian Hill, most of us have used opiates for surgery. Do you think it changes us permanently when you have surgery? I don't know, to be honest. That's a good question. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on it? We differ politically, but the discourse is important. Keep doing what you do. Stay clean. Thank you, Straub. Thank you. And yeah, guys, subscribe if you haven't, anybody who's from the politics shows or something, because I'll do these, once a week at least. And maybe I could switch over to my actual addiction and recovery channel. You guys can go subscribe there and we'll start doing them on that channel. Who knows what I've taken with ecstasy back in the day. I hear you. I only did that shit once. It was so fucking good. Oh my God. I did it at my friend Dave's house. I was driving home and I'm like, man, this is bullshit. Like, I don't feel a fucking thing. And then like that, I had my sunroof, my windows open. It was like a warm spring night. And just the air hit my skin. And I was like, oh my God, feels good. Like everything, every little fucking thing caused the greatest sensation. It's like, oh, this is dangerous. I like this too much. I can never do this again because I will be an addict, no doubt. Glad you left that H alone, bro. That's bad. Congrats to you, sir. Pain pill withdrawal was awful. Yeah, I can't imagine. Listen, I'll tell you this. Any of you that know about addiction, which I'm assuming most of you do, alcohol withdrawal, they say might be worse than a heroin addiction because it'll kill you. Heroin addiction will make you feel like you want to die. It won't necessarily kill you, but alcohol withdrawal will. And I'll tell you this, alcohol withdrawal is, just looking back on, it's agony. It's pure fucking agony. It's a lot, I imagine, like what heroin withdrawal must be like. I remember banging my fucking head on the wall because I had nothing to drink and my whole body was shaking, my hands, my insides, and I was just in excruciating pain of heaving and couldn't eat, What was I going to say about that? But you guys, I think, see, with alcohol withdrawal, something's going to happen. Either you're going to get medically treated or you're going to have a seizure or a heart attack and stroke, and you might very well drop fucking dead. Heroin with you guys, I had a friend named Dora who was a sweetheart. I loved and adored this girl, and I couldn't get her to stop the heroin. And I remember she decided to lock herself in a room one time at her mom's house. And she was in her room for 5 days before she felt like she kicked it, And she described the pain and the suffering she went through in that 5 days, like wanting to die. So I can't even imagine what you guys go through. I was addicted to OxyContin for 32 years. I got it for a back problem, blown disc, and started using them for recreational purposes. Wow. Yeah, that's tough, man. 32 years. Holy shit. Wow. I came off heavy dependency Percodan. Really, Rick? That's, I'm assuming I'm sorry if you already said it earlier. An operation or some chronic pain or something you were on it for? Oh yeah, for the doctor. Yeah. Took my pain addiction away by taking. Well, listen, man, if that worked for you, that's fantastic because a lot of people, man, like this girl Kelly, I know, same type of shit. Her fucking brother Gary was a young kid, and when he was 13, he got some sort of injury playing baseball, and his dad didn't take him to the hospital or anything. He just said, "Here, I got something that'll help you." What a great father. And he gave him some Oxy, and that was it. He became a full-blown addict. At 16 years old, they found him dead in the parking lot of a mall right near my house. Yep. Overdosed in the parking lot. Thanks to his father. Ain't that some shit? Do you, Billy the Kid? Well, help me out. Well, listen, I was vaping, and vaping was helping. You could ask these guys that have been here for a while. A few months back, I was smoking like maybe less than half a pack a day from 2 packs a day. Then I took a long trip, and while I was away, I don't know, I just started smoking heavily again. And but from what I found out yesterday, there's no more smoking or vaping. Like within weeks, I have to quit, or I'm not going to be here long. I quit smoking by filling a pack of cigarettes with joints. Nice. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, joints are fucking healthier. Don Berlin. Don, I was going to send you the link. I don't know what's up with you. I don't know what part of the world you're in. I don't know what's going on. But every time I do an addiction recovery show, I think about you and Kimberly. Greetings from the land of the sand. It's crazy times here, but now flying out. Be well, stay safe, stay sober, and stay 2 steps ahead of the Undertaker. So you're in the Middle East. I hope you stay safe, my friend. Get home safe, and if anything happens to you, somehow in the afterlife, I'm going to take it out on you for leaving me so soon. Hypnosis helped me quit smoking cigarettes. Was so easy. It's funny, when I was in rehab, I did it. I got hypnotized by the clinical director or whatever. And I don't think it worked for 5 minutes. As soon as I walked out of the fucking office, I went out by the pool and I was smoking again. You know what I mean? Didn't work for me. Oh, war. I understand. Believe me. I just click like a chicken once in a while. What do you mean? There's a difference between addiction to a substance and alcoholism. How so? What do you mean? In what way? I mean, I might agree with you. I just don't know exactly what you mean. I did do PTSD treatment now, and some of the flashbacks is gone. But I got to say, there's a light at the end. I feel happy and proud for the things I managed to do right. Fucking A, and you should, bro. You should. You absolutely should. I'm glad things are better. It's a hell of an accomplishment. You know, a lot of people make fun of addicts and stuff, and they try to, you know, demean you and call you junkies or whatever the fuck they drunks, you know, whatever it is to try to belittle you. But a lot of these people, you know, they don't know if they could survive what we survived. You know what I mean? It's not easy, man. Addiction is easy. That might sound stupid, but what I mean is continuing along with your addiction. The hard part is getting clean and sober. If you could do that, I think you could do damn near anything in life, to be honest with you. But that was the thing with me. You know, every time I felt like I needed to get clean and sober, it just seemed so much easier not to. You know what I mean? It's like, unfortunately, one thing that'll always bother me is in 2014, I was real bad with the coke and alcohol, and I woke up one day, it was a horrible situation, alcohol withdrawal and everything. And I called crisis intervention, and I fucking begged them. I said, I need to get into a place today, not tomorrow, today, because tomorrow will be too late, because I'll start getting high and drinking, and I won't want to get clean and sober anymore. And they told me they had a place for me. They were going to send a van to pick me up. It was like an hour and a half away. And then they called me back and said, oh, turns out, because once in my life I was diagnosed with bipolar, which later on doctors said, you're not bipolar. I don't know where you were diagnosed with that, but it fucked me up because they said, we got to put you in a dual diagnosis treatment center, so we don't have a bed for you. And that was it. You're talking about another 5 years of active addiction, you know? Roll 20 joints and fill a pack of cigarettes with them. Use filters too. Make it as much like a cigarette as possible. You'll be totally over cigarettes in 2 weeks. I quit butts. New Year's 2000. Well, congrats, but bro, first of all, I can't smoke weed. It never worked for me. I hate it. But secondly, I'm completely clean and sober. So even weed to me isn't okay. I don't knock any of you that use it at all, but it's just not my thing. I'm so fucking like OCD, you know, everything has to be 100%, you know, I can't. That's one of the things that keeps me from relapsing, is that when I got clean when I was younger, I would get clean and sober, and then every now and then I'd have a drink, I'd do a couple of lines, and then I wouldn't tell nobody, and I'd continue on with my sobriety, you know. But in my older age, I became OCD, that even if I got away with it, if nobody around me knew it, like I took a couple of trips to the Midwest over the last few months. I was all by myself. My wife stayed home, you know, my stepkids. And I could have easily gotten high or drunk. You know what I mean? Anywhere you go, you could find cocaine. And there was a fucking bar right next to my hotel. But I know me. If I would have used, even if I'd have gotten away with it and I was fine the next day, in my mind, you know, it's like the 6.5 years is gone now. We start from scratch. I can lie to people and say I'm still clean and sober, but I can't lie to myself. Oh, Arlene, yeah. Well, when I was 19, I had a grand mal seizure. I was in cardiac intensive care for quite some time, about 12 days. Yeah. That's how I felt when I would smoke opium. Nothing hurt. Nothing could touch me. Like that stuff way too much. Really? Henry Rocco, it is, as far as, you know, it will kill you, you know, like you will. When I was 19, like I just said, I went 12 hours without a drink, had a grand mal seizure. I was drinking a half a gallon of fucking vodka a day for a year. And I was like fucking 125 pounds. You know what I mean? What did I say? A half a gallon? Yeah, about a fifth to a half a gallon. I thought maybe if I said a gallon, no, I would have been dead. But the DTs and stuff were so fucking bad, and my heart was so out of control that they had to snow me with Ativan because they couldn't get my heart rate below 164. So they gave me over 60 milligrams of Ativan IV. They snowed me with that, put me in a coma for 7 days, and then when I came out of it, I was still going through the DTs so bad that one night I woke up and there was a nurse in my room fixing my, you know, covers or whatever, and I kicked her because I thought I was seeing shadow people, and I didn't know where I was. I didn't, you know what I mean? And I kicked her, and that was it. They strapped me down for the rest of my time there. I could not move shit. I was strapped the fuck down. Who you talking to, Sender? Justin? Me? When it comes to, as far as what? I came off of years of pain pills by taking a couple of Valium. When you say a couple, Rick, did it take you a while? Was there like weeks worth of Valium? Because I could see that benzos, I think, are used sometimes to treat opioid addiction and stuff. But you say a couple, like not just once, right? I'm assuming it took you a while. I can understand the addiction. They gave me morphine and I wanted more. Very funny experience, but only once. Yeah. Well, I had a fucking surgery, like a heart type of surgery. And they gave me fentanyl because they couldn't give me a general anesthetic because they needed to keep me awake for it. Otherwise, what they were working on in my heart, they wouldn't be able to see. It's called PVCs. They did an ablation. And if I was asleep, you wouldn't be able to see every time I had one. And they needed to be able to burn tissue with this laser every time I had one. So they made me stay awake and they put me on fentanyl. A 6-hour surgery. And I remember the anesthesiologist told me, hey, just look over at me anytime you are starting to feel it, the pain, and I'll give you more. Man, I remember being like laying down, they're operating on me. I'm looking over at her like, please, just a little more. She'd give me a little more. And I was never out. But man, I didn't remember shit. What a shock. When you don't know, you say you don't know. That disqualifies you from ever. No, Lily. None of that. Nah. Addiction recovery only, sir. There's actually people who fight in the politics chats getting along right now because this is something, a lot of people, regardless of your political beliefs or your ideology, addiction affects everybody. It affects everybody. I love methadone. I've had 200 MLS and feel great. Wow. I mean, heroin withdrawal can kind of kill you too with high blood pressure or diarrhea if you're extreme dosages, but it's rare. Alcohol is way more dangerous to quit. I figured you could probably die from heroin. I don't think it's that common. But yeah, alcohol, man. The second time I got medically no. I hate to the third time I got medically detoxed, I was put, I want to get into all this. Let's just say I was in the hospital. Okay. And it was the second time. I'm sorry. They had to, they gave me tons of Valium. And I was in my little room and it would wear off and my heart would just start going through my chest. Like I was going to have a fucking massive heart attack. And I would run out and tell them, my heart rate. And they would have to pump me full of Valium. And they told me they would take my blood pressure and say, you're on the verge of a heart attack. My heart rate would be like 180. It's terrifying. Is that right, Joe? Jeffrey Crow. I was going to say, that name looks familiar. If you deal with a ton of physical pain, you get to that place, bro, where you see leaving is the only option. I understand how some get there. I believe it, man. I will always feel for people with chronic pain. Always. Hey, Hamilton, I'm not going to block you, bro. This isn't a politics show. It's just addiction recovery. If you are interested in that topic, please hang out. But there's no need for insults on this. Wait, insult me on the next politics show. No big deal. I can handle it. I still get buprenorphine prescribed for a day for 6 years. All right, this is going to sound bad. I don't know what that is. What is that? Is that like Subutex or something? Suboxone? I'm off those pills now. After 32 years, I got treatment for it, and I'm totally clean. I had a doctor back then that would just give me as many as I wanted. He was contributing to my addiction. Well, it fucking pisses me off because they are the biggest drug dealers in the world. The doctors. They're fucking. You give them a prescription pad, and they can destroy you. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you, brother. I gotta say that sober life is good too, though. I like it. It's nice and peaceful. Bro, certainly is. A hell of a lot better than addiction because you're weak. Gunsmoke, huh? Yeah. Whatever you say. If this was the real Gunsmoke, obviously I'd annihilate you right now. But just a dick rider, I assume. Yeah. I can't quit vapes. I sleep with my vape, and the second I wake up, I hit it out of instinct. Oh, really? My fucking brother quit smoking and started vaping. But now that's the same type of situation. Now he's hooked on vaping and he can't stop that. You know what I mean? That's how hard court alcoholics make themselves feel superior to junkies. It's all the same. No, bro. Nobody makes whatever you say. Nobody's saying. I'm not even trying to say. That's why I asked about heroin withdrawal. I'm not even trying to say. All I'm saying is that one withdrawal will kill you. The other one won't. It doesn't mean alcoholics are better than heroin addicts. I was a pillhead, taking 15 and 20 a night, had a stroke in April of 2025. Haven't taken shit since since then, and I was on for 20 years. Wow, man, congrats. Are you okay from the stroke? Do you have any lasting, complications or anything? Byron, it's a addiction and recovery show, brother. Save it for the next politics show. My son died from drinking withdrawals 4 times since August. Holy shit, Arlene. Really? Wow. That's terrible. That's terrible. Was it in the hospital? They don't get it. They don't understand how easy it is to get addicted to that stuff. No. Of course not. That's why, it's so funny because I had a little accident. I do some, let's just say I get a lot of outdoor exercise, even though you can't tell by this. And about a year and a half ago, I was doing what I do, and I fell and fucking busted my head on the concrete. I fell from like 4 feet in the air. It was bad. And I got to the hospital, and I'm back in the emergency room. My wife comes to meet me, and the nurse comes back and says, because I said, can you give me something for this headache? My head is killing me. She comes back and she goes, I got you some Oxy or Percocet, whatever it was. And I said, what? I said, did you see my chart? I can't take that. I'm a fucking app. I said, give me a Tylenol. I just want Tylenol. She said, oh my God, thank you for telling me. It's like, wow, just that easily. If I was willing to, I could have gotten Oxy right then on the spot. It's like, the fuck, man. If you haven't quit cigarettes, you're not clean and sober. Well, that's absurd, Rick Young. That's not true. Would you rather deal with a pothead or an alcoholic? Oof. Pothead, definitely. Addiction is easy. The funny thing about me is that I was an alcoholic, but I can't stand drunk people. I can't fucking stand being around. When I was drunk, I didn't care. You know what I mean? But now, I don't want to be anywhere near drunk people. Addiction is easy. Quitting is difficult. Living with the mistakes, the addiction you made is the real change. Yeah. Or the addict. I'm sorry. The mistakes the addict you made. Yeah. It's true. I deal with it every fucking day. The regrets are the hardest part of it. And, the thing is, it's been 6.5 years for me. I came to the conclusion a couple of nights ago that it's never going away. This is just stuff I'm going to have to live with till the day I die, because some of the things are just so serious that, I can't forgive myself, even if other people forgave me, Where's Soto at? I see. Oh, you got a prob. What's going on, Soto? You all right? You may not be getting high from cigarettes, but they're killing. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not clean and sober. They're not mind altering. You know what I mean? They are killers, though. You're right. Believe me. I know I need to quit. I think I just hung on to it because it's all I had left. You know what I mean? I can't. Like so many recovering addicts I know, they smoke weed. They're what you call California sober, They still smoke weed. I don't do that. I don't take. There's been times I wanted to take what do you call that shit? For anxiety and stuff. I can't think of it. The shit you can buy at stores now. Can't think of what it is. But even that I won't take. You know what I mean? So I know I need to quit smoking, man, but it's tough. I've been smoking 32 years or so. I smoked 2 packs a day for 30 years, couldn't quit. I collapsed at the hospital door, heart stopped, a resuscitation, next day bypass. That made me quit. Posted haze. Wow, man. Well, good for you. It's a shame it took that much, but that's how strong the addiction is of smoke. Smoking is just a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like my thing with cocaine, I love cocaine. I'm not going to lie, but I needed to drink to do coke. You know what I mean? I just was never one of those people that could really handle it without drinking because I think I always had heart problems my whole life. I definitely found out when I was 35, I did, but I think even earlier than that. And, I drank more so just to, come down from cocaine. And, once I got medically detoxed and I was done with the alcohol, I was done with the cocaine too. And I just didn't want, I didn't want it. Like I always say, I feel like I have it easier than a lot of alcoholics. I feel bad for alcoholics who's, where drinking is like their lifestyle. Like I know guys like this. I've known them, 30 fucking years, guys that every single day when they get home from work, they start drinking until they go to sleep. They wake up, they have a beer or two, go to work. You know what I mean? Some of them drink at work. And then on the weekends, every spare moment is consumed by drinking. And that's tough. See, I never enjoyed drinking. Was always a means to an end for me, a way to kill anxiety or depression or put myself to sleep when I couldn't sleep because I was always an insomniac or to come down off coke or something like that. So I had it easy, because once I was medically detoxed, I was medically detoxed 3 times in my life. And, I was fine until I just decided I want to use again. The third time, a third time I started using again eventually, but in 2019 I went to rehab. I got clean and sober, and I'm better now. Really, Arlene, I'm sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Glad you could deal with the pain. I got left on a sidewalk with bones stuck out of my legs. Shit hurts. And the pain management doc wouldn't give me more than 2 pills a day because of DEA. Wow. Well, it's probably for the best. I hate to say it. I'm sorry you got to deal with that pain, but my 28-year-old son, Dylan, died on July 27th, 2025 from acute alcohol poisoning, type 1 diabetic and alcoholic. Damn, Daddy Ilo, I'm so sorry, brother. Holy fuck. I'm sorry for your loss. I can't even imagine losing a kid. That's heartbreaking, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. You need to take other things when you quit drinking, never do a cold. Well, I know I was a fucking idiot. My problem was the first time I had a girlfriend who I loved and later went on to have a kid with and stuff. I had been with her for years and her dad died of alcoholism, and she came to me one day. She stuck with me through a lot of the alcoholism, but one day she came to me and said, that's it. I'm not going to lose another man to this. Either quit or I'm leaving. And that was my greatest fear. So I decided to go to a friend's house where he didn't drink. So I knew there wouldn't be any alcohol. So even if I wanted to drink and I got weak, I couldn't do it. And little did I know you can't do that. 12 hours later, I had the seizure. So same, I kicked the nurse. Yeah, I've been there, bro. I've been sober 7 years in August, and I'm never going to look back. Congrats, Amethyst Ange. That's awesome. Yeah, those DTs, anybody who's gone through them, it's a fucking nightmare. I mean, if you guys ever want to see it, my mom showed me this when I was younger because I went through this. There's a movie called The Lost Weekend from the 50s, and it's a perfect portrayal of the delirium tremens you get from alcohol withdrawal. They were concerned with the DEA investigating them for prescribing more than 2 or 3 pills a day to pain patients. After a couple of years, it didn't help with the pain anymore. Well, I guess they got to be careful now. It's probably a good thing, Oh, you go to a methadone clinic now, Melanie? That's good. I think getting opiates in a hospital is a little different, though. Well, you mean like in the situation I described? I don't know if you mean what I talked about when I had that fall or not, but for me, it was just, I think I know what you mean. Like it wouldn't be like a relapse. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. To me, it was, I told you, I'm so OCD about this shit that it's like, I'm so fucking, I think because guys, I struggled with addiction from when I was 16 to when I was 39, and I think, I truly believed I'd never get clean and sober. And once I actually was able to do it, I think I'm just for the rest of my life, I'm going to be terrified that anything could, pull me back down. And, That's why, even that day, my head was bumping. It was killing me. I would have killed for, to take the pain away. But I know that if I would have even taken some perks or something in the hospital, what that could lead to. So, because they control the dosage and you have normally a very insane wound, and it's like the pain you're in bums through this stuff faster. Oh, I think I know what you mean. I gotcha. Cigarettes ruined my life. I'm looked at as I deserved it. Self-inflicted disease. Really, Terrid? What do you got? What do you call it? COPD or something? People have attitude until it's their kid or brother or sister that has a problem. Well, Versatare, I know. And that's why, I won't get into the politics stuff, but, when somebody makes fun of a person who has a kid or something that's on drugs, it's like, when do we make fun of people? Like, when do we start making fun of people for that? That's a parent's worst nightmare, whether the kid's a child, a grown adult. I mean, I just, I could look back and see the pain in my mom's eyes the first time I told her I had a drug problem. And, I don't wish it on anybody, It's Bob. I'm on my wife's phone. All right. What's up, Bob? How you doing, brother? I wish I was given benzos to get off fentanyl. I went cold turkey and had seizures, probably due to not being able to sleep for 10 days straight. Yeah, I feel you. Benzos would have done it. Benzos are, in a weird way, a cure-all for a lot of things, but it's got to be limited. Like, I don't know if you guys know what's that shit called that they give alcoholics? It starts with an L. My memory is so bad. Librium. That's a benzo. And like when I got out of the hospital, they gave me 3 days worth, only 3 days worth. But man, that shit, like you still be going through alcohol withdrawal. You got the shakes, you're vomiting, you're sweating. You take one of those and it's like you drank a fifth of some 80 proof shit. Like you feel better. You don't feel drunk necessarily, but you feel a little woozy, but your body feels better, and you don't feel the withdrawal anymore. Problem is, after 3 days, you'd kill for more of that shit and you ain't getting it. That's why, guys, when I was in the streets, there was no pill I couldn't find. I could get Ativans, I could get Klonopins, I could get Xanny bars with no problem. But Librium, you'll never see that shit on the street because they don't put enough of it out there. They don't prescribe it like that. People who look down on cigarette smokers are usually up to something far worse. I know. I don't want to, I don't get into it on shows like this, but yeah, I mean, usually the people who are telling me, they talk to me like I'm an asshole because I smoke. They're drinking or doing drugs or something. It's like, listen, I'm fully aware. I'm 46. My mom died in June of heart failure, and a lot of her problems were related to smoking. I'm fully aware of how bad it is. Plus, I have 2 family members with lung cancer. I know, believe me, I know. Jerry Garcia had a heart attack in rehab from going cold turkey with no medication. Is that right? I didn't know that. If you have a broken leg, you take so much more fentanyl to get high than if you have it in a normal day. Yeah, I understand that. My BP was 198 over 100 when I went to the doc for detox. Wow, Julianne. Wow. For alcohol, right? Man, I got addicted to opiates from my doctor giving me a prescription for OxyContin, telling me it was non-addictive. See, that's what, that's makes me fucking sick. I've watched stuff about that. Like, that's what they would do, they put you on this shit and you trust doctors. You know what I mean? Like, who else are you going to trust? And when it comes to your health, it's like, okay, the doctor's not going to give me anything that'll hurt me. Well, yeah, they will, and I can't even imagine how many deaths have been caused, where the root cause was a doctor's prescription. Like, in other words, not people that started out on heroin from the street or pills from the street or fentanyl, but they never did a drug in their lives and then they got prescribed that shit. And then what happens a lot is when they get cut off, then they got to get it on the street, and if they can't afford it, they got to get heroin. Heroin is 1,000 times cheaper than the pills. I know back in the day when I was doing my thing and hustling and selling and all that shit, pills were basically $1 a milligram. I knew a couple, they each needed 280s a day just to get out of bed. Basically, you're talking about $160 each. So what was their eventual outcome? They just went to heroin because you could get a bundle for $120 and both be good for a day, $100, whatever. And they lost everything, you know, but they were in a car accident. They'd never done drugs. They were like the perfect all-American family. Girl was stunning, beautiful. Her name was Rachel. Her and her boyfriend. And I used to sell them Coke. They would buy Coke to take the edge off when they were going through, you know, when they were dope sick. You know, eventually it always leads to, or you wind up getting pills from the street, and now they could be pressed pills and you drop fucking dead, you know? I quit smoking cigarettes, but now I'm addicted to my damn vape too. Well, that's the thing. It's like you can't fucking win, you know? No mob tube today, Mr. Big Cav. Addiction and recovery. I'm a jackass of all trades. I do a lot of different things on YouTube. I went to the doc Monday for severe bronchitis and didn't tell him that that the reason my pulse was 117 was that I needed a drink. Oh shit. So you're still struggling, Julian? Oh shit, that's not good. That's not good. Well, I hope you get better soon. My brother, this Ronnie fucking jerk off. My brother had a stroke and had to admit he was drinking heavily because his heart rate was so high. Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing is that some people can hide alcoholism. It's very difficult to do, but yeah. It's scary too, you know, because you go through that. Like, I didn't know. When I was a young guy, I didn't know. I had no fuck. I thought you could just quit drinking. A lot of people don't know. You know, like I had family I used to fight. I'd be desperate. I wasn't even of age yet. I'm begging them, please get me a bottle of fucking rum, vodka, something. I'm fucking dying. Oh, you just want to drink. You got to quit drinking. I'm not getting you anything. And it's like, no. I'm going to die. You know, like I could feel it, but I didn't actually know that was a possible outcome. You could drop fucking dead. And they didn't know it either. You know what I mean? So people don't take it seriously because they think they don't even know. A lot of people don't know there's such a thing as alcohol withdrawal. And if they do, a lot of people don't know how deadly it could be. You know, I certainly didn't find out till I had the seizure. User, not today, bro. We're talking addiction and recovery, brother. If you want to hang out, you can, but we'll insult each other on the politics shows, not these. Wow, Arlene, that's horrible. Been off since 2020. I realize it's been 6 years now. That's what's up, man. Congratulations. Who are you talking to? Me? I learned to lay down on the ground when starting to pass out to avoid injury. Oh, man, Julianne, I'm sorry you're going through this. Street Smart Politics is crazy. They will hand that out to you quick, but with bones stuck out of my leg, they were more concerned with DEA fucking with them if they give them. Yeah, Melanie, I hear you. I thought the same thing. I said to my wife, wait a minute. I came in here, like my head was okay. They gave me a CAT scan, MRI, whatever the fuck, right? These guys could tell you, I had to do my shows with sunglasses on for like 2 weeks because there was a knot on my head this big. My whole eye was swollen shut, completely swollen shut. So I had to wear shades when I did my shows. And I just my head was killing me, of course. And I just wanted a Tylenol. And she brings me Oxy. I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. I mean, what in the fuck? That easily? Holy. And you don't see my chart. I have fucking like 20 fucking 5 years of documented addiction. And you're giving me Oxy. Scary as shit. But then you, Melanie, you got a serious problem where you need it and they don't want to help you. Just because you smoke doesn't mean you aren't clean. Nah. True. I think Rick Young means like you still have an addiction, you know, and he's right. But I look at it as, you know, it's not mind altering. It's not like I get high off it. It's not like, you know, I do it for any other reason than it's just something I always did. You know what I mean? It's not. Doesn't kill pain, doesn't take bad thoughts away, doesn't put me to sleep. Sometimes I wish it did, but it doesn't. No, you can't do that, Amethyst. Don't blame yourself. Don't do that. Oh, Sendo Justa, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people, you know, like if you were to see my life, you know, 7 years ago, you'd be shocked that I'm in the position I am now, meaning clean and sober and relatively healthy. I'm not healthy, but relatively considering, you know, how sick I should be. And I managed to do well for myself in life. You know, I never thought it would happen. But it's just all you got to do is get help. You know, there's a whole world of possibilities out there. Like people that are lonely, they don't want to get help. You know, but I've told people, look, I got help, and it actually led to me, to, you know, beginning a relationship with someone that ended up in a marriage. You know, and we're together till this day. It'll be 7 years. It'll be 6 years married, and this month on the 17th, and 7 years we've been together, you know, in the summer. But yeah, so you never know, you know, your life could turn around for the best like that. I just saw a live of a way high gas price in Los Angeles, all the maggots in the chat. I know, but bro, listen, and I know this is confusing because I do different content on this channel, but this is just an addiction or recovery show. We just talk about that. California, so damn, am I that far behind? Holy shit. Yeah, California sober. I heard who the fuck did I hear say that? I don't remember. It was that chick, the singer girl from American Idol, the one that had the real bad addiction. She said California sober is like you know, you just smoke weed still, you know what I mean? They had $10 for good podcast today from Teresa. I won't say your full name, but thank you very, very much for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Anna, how you doing? Welcome. I had a seizure back in November, spent a week in the hospital. Liver, I was told, was cirrhosis. I tried to dry out early this week. I made it like 3 days, and I felt like I was going to die. I'm sorry to hear that, Josiah, that you're still drinking, but they told you definitely already have cirrhosis. Are you beyond the point of no return? Like what if you quit completely? Will you get better? I mean, either way, you should quit, you know, but I'm just curious. Because I think even with cirrhosis, I think as long as you're not past the point of no return, like your liver isn't so bad that it just can't heal itself, I think you can you know, heal from that, but I'm not sure. I know when I was 19, they told me that I had the beginning stages of cirrhosis. They said, if you drink 6 more months the way you've been drinking, you'll have full blown cirrhosis, you know? So that was it, man. I had an enlarged heart, liver failure, kidney failure. They told me I had bone marrow damage. I mean, not liver damage and kidney damage, not failure. I'm sorry. Did you see the lady in Cincy that got the mommy makeover and they over medicated her with OD on pain meds, and now she's brain dead in the hospital? What? Oh my God, that is so fucking heartbreaking. Can you imagine? Jesus, you think you're doing something good, you're excited, you're happy, and some fucktard does the wrong thing and your life is over. Holy shit. People, stop trying to bring politics. It's nice to finally see this guy talking about real shit. You want to be in an echo chamber. The only cries about Trump go elsewhere. Yeah, Bryce, listen, you know, we have our political differences, a lot of us, you know, but this is something I think a lot of people can relate on. And if we can manage not to talk about politics, you know, maybe we can help each other. We've always had it's a small community as far as the addiction recovery, but I've been doing these shows for, you know, damn near 5 years. I took breaks at times, but we really have a lot of good people that share and that sometimes join the show and tell their stories. And it's cool. You know, I don't do meetings. So this is like a meeting for me, you know. It's good to talk. And, you know, I hate to say this, but it really is sad that so many people do have so much in common, even as far as, you know, pain and struggle. But because of the way the world is today in this country, we can't seem to get along. You know what I mean? When there's people that could be helping each other. I'm glad some of you joined, though. I want to thank you guys from the politics shows for taking part in this, because 78 people is really good for an addiction recovery show for me. So I appreciate you guys. Gifters are amazing. What do you mean gifters? Detox from alcohol needs medical supervision. You can have the drive to change. This is excellent. It is also okay that change needs help. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing, Anna, that, you know, some people don't realize they're addicted. You don't even know sometimes, like, because you're constantly using whatever you're using, especially with alcohol. You're drinking all the fucking time, you know, and then something happens. Like, I've had friends who got locked up and had seizures in their fucking jail cells because they didn't tell medical they were alcoholics, you know, and they didn't even know how severely addicted they were. It's crazy because with alcohol, like, I know a lot of people that drink beer and only beer, you know, and I know guys drink a case of beer a day and then they have to quit, and they do deal with some withdrawal, but it's very mild. Liquor, I mean, when you're drinking like I was drinking, you know, a fifth a day, a half a gallon a day, I mean, it will not take long. You can be dead in hours without having a drink. And the fucking withdrawal is just pure torture. Your liver can heal. Yeah. One is too much, 1,000 never enough. Yeah. I never thought I'd see a retarded leftist thumb. I guess there's a first for everything. That's not the first time I've been called a thumb. Thank you, Bud Tugley, 69. Let's try to keep it to addiction and recovery. But hey, at least it was funny. I'll laugh at anything if it's funny. My liver aches for the first time a few days ago. A stop before the tipping point. Yeah, that's not good, Julian, because that's when you know you got problems. And abuse. Oh, you're talking about my doctor prescribed that to me once, but it was so fucking expensive. That shit'll, you know, make it so you're not able to drink. But, you know, then people just stop taking it. What is Warlock, man? Jesus loves you. I'm not grandstanding, just spitting facts. All right, Adam Project. I'm nobody. No, you're somebody, bro. It is amazing what the body is capable of healing if you stop doing damage to it. It really is, man. You know, it really is. Oh, hospice. Where did I read it? Wait a minute, hold on. What did you say? I'm sorry. Melanie. Oh, fuck. Hold on, this is important. Let me try to find Melanie. Because, you know, I don't remember all the comments. What do you mean? What was hospice? Oh, thanks, Melanie. I didn't see this comment. I had to skip past some to get caught up. Yeah. Yeah. Not necessarily, Adam. There's many Republicans in FBS's circle. Oh, there are. Yeah, no doubt. Were you gang affiliated when you were in the street? Nah. I mean, I was the city I was in, damn near every gang known to man, with the exception of certain West Coast gangs, were there. But and I had friends that were gang members, but gang affiliated as far as like associated with a certain gang or something, no. I didn't even want to be in large groups. Like, I didn't like committing crimes with people. I just wanted to do my own thing, you know. Now I hung out with other people who hustled and sold drugs and shit, but when it came to other types of crime, you know, my dad taught me when I was very young, three can keep a secret if two are dead. I believe that's the expression, right? Yeah. No, you're not. Adam, what's wrong with you, bro? You're talking very negatively about yourself. Why are you brainwashed scum? I gave split the rest of my weed between a couple of friends yesterday. I'm done. Was on the couch coughing up mucus from Monday. Since yesterday, the prednisone finally kicked in Friday. Wow. I hope you get better soon, Julian. I really do. Addiction is nothing to play with. You need support. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It really isn't. It really isn't. Who wished death on you, Adam? Who? Josiah, I had a seizure back in November. I spent a week in the hospital. Liver, I was told. Oh, did you put that in again, or did I somehow go backwards in the chat? Because I remember reading that. Oh, yeah, I went backwards in the chat. My bad. You are a keyboard warrior, not. So I'm not a keyboard warrior? Thank you. Foamy piss means you have a bad kidney. Is that right? Oh, man, now you're going to have me. God, now if I have foamy piss, I'm going to be, convinced I'm in kidney failure. Oh, is that right? Is that true? Motherfucker. I think I do have foamy. Oh, no. Oh no, that's not. No, you could be normal piss, can it? Even if it's foamy. My son already had cirrhosis. Yes, you can. Sometimes your liver rejuvenates. The liver is the most amazing organ in your body. Like you could literally, like somebody could get a piece of a liver, like as a transplant, and it'll grow into a full liver. It's amazing. When I was on Antabuse, I just quit taking the pills for 4 days and started drinking again. That's the problem with that shit. I don't do meetings either. It's refreshing to hear to talking about things people can relate to. Yeah, man. I believe me, I'd much rather be doing this shit, man. You know, the politics shit drives me fucking crazy. It really does. But I just feel strongly about it. You know, if there was a way I could just do this for a living somehow, oh, that's all I would do. Just because we don't see eye to eye doesn't mean I hate you. Oh, no doubt, bro. I'm the same way, you know. That's why these guys, we've called each other names, everything in the politics chats. You're here and you are interested in this topic. It's pretty important. You know, I put everything aside. Correction, they say foamy piss and you have damaged kidneys. Can your kidneys heal from that? You know, I don't know. If my wife was here, she's a nurse, I would ask her. I'm not sure. You know, my mom had heart failure, but the real reason she passed and because what happens is she passed June 29th. But what happens is when you have heart failure and you take this Lasix stuff you have to take, it makes you pee out fluid that builds around your heart, your lungs, and all that. Eventually, you know, it starts to affect your kidneys greatly, and your kidneys begin to fail, and sometimes the liver goes right along with it. And my mom actually, you know, they can't give you medicine anymore. You know, your life-sustaining medicine. If your kidneys are failing, you can't take the stuff that keeps you from dying from heart failure. So you wind up dying from heart failure. You know, and it's I remember when my wife told me, you know, because I have it now. I have congestive heart failure, and my mom told me, or my wife told me, you know, she's been a nurse since she was 18 years old. You know, she says, Chris, you'll never understand how gruesome it is to see somebody die from heart failure. And I didn't understand what she meant. I thought your heart just stopped, you know? And then I watched my mom die from it. And it is very scary knowing that I'm going to suffer the same exact fate, especially now that I know what it looks like, you know? So the kidney thing worries me. You know, yesterday I went for blood work and a doctor did order whatever test it is where they check your kidneys, but for some reason they only check my BNP and my heart failure. I don't know why. Love the man, hate his politics, and that is perfectly okay in my world. Same to Michael. Michael's a good man, you know. I know Michael well, and I hate his politics too, but I love the guy. He's a good dude. Thank you, Dion. Same to you, brother. I always felt AA was cultish. I've never been able to connect with it. Well, you know, my problem with it is I'm an atheist, you know, and, you know, it's very Christian based, you know, and I feel like it's almost a recruiting technique or tool, you know, I don't know. But I've spoken at meetings. I have a pretty interesting story and I've told it at meetings and, you know, people have told me it's helped them. So but I've never attended, like, you know, when I was in rehab, you were allowed to skip like 2 things. Everything else was mandatory as far as meetings and groups. And I skipped AA and I forget what the other one was. Plato said to be kind because everyone you meet is fighting their own terrible battle. All humans have problems and more in common than not. 100%. I was thinking about this earlier with the politics shit, you know. Everybody really, we just have different ideas of how to go about it, or we have different ideas about how to get where we want to go. But everybody's struggling. Everybody's just trying to make it through the day, you know. We just have different worldviews. But I have 13 and a half years clean and sober. I'm a counselor and life is beautiful. Thank God. Congratulations, Dion. That's awesome, bro. Let me ask you, did you go to school for that or what? I mean, I know most likely you did, but I think there's a way to kind of become a counselor just through your experience from addiction. It's not like a real profession, but you know what I mean, out of rehab. It's nice to see a common ground. Street Smarts is just a regular dude. Drives me nuts when MAGA discredits the channel without merit. Thank you. What is it? Pick and Grin one? Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm just a regular guy. But listen, the politics is so fucking polarizing and shit. It's bad. I know it is. I was really hoping, guys, that some of the politics people would take part in this show today, and I'm thrilled that they have. Yes, I'll drink up to 10 to 14 beers a night. I can give it a break now and then. It's a good thing, man. Look in the mirror about what, Ramblin', right? Tell us a little bit about yourself and past struggles. I've only tuned in for your political stuff, and even though I don't agree with everything you say, I respect you, and I'd like to know your story. Okay, I'll tell you what, I will. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that's wild. I got to look into that. That's so sad. Hold on, I just got to turn the thing off. Hold on. So I don't want to, a lot of the people in here are regulars. They've been with me for years, so they've heard my story 1,000 times. But I'm sure they don't mind sitting through it. I'll just tell as much of a shortened version as I can. So I'm from New York originally. I kind of grew up in New York. I lived there, as a kid, and I moved here in my early teens to Pennsylvania, of all places, which I hated then, and I still hate to this day. When I was like 15 years old, I started getting in trouble a lot, because I didn't like where I was at, and I started, lashing out, I guess you could say. My dad was a guy that, we're an Italian family, and my dad was raised by his father, who had ties to the mob and stuff like that. So my dad came from that world to an extent. And my dad, for some odd reason, thought it'd be a good idea to raise me on mafia movies and stuff like that. It's not a good idea. Don't do that to your kids. So I grew up fascinated with crime. I wound up here. The people I wound up around were drug dealers in the hood and stuff. You know what I mean? And one of them taught me basically how to sell weed, how to bag it up, different weights and what to charge for everything, So I started selling weed. And then when I was around 16, 17 years old, I met a guy who was a pretty large scale dealer for the small city I was in. And he started giving me cocaine, you know what I mean? And he showed me the same thing. He showed me how to weigh it, how to bag it, how much to sell everything for. And he was giving me unbelievable, like the prices were, what I was paying was nothing. I was making 5 times what I was paying for this shit. It was incredible. And I got hooked on selling that shit, man. Oh my God. I think it's more addictive selling it than it is doing it. It's like a license to print money. And maybe when I was 18, 19 years old, I fell into a pretty serious depression. Now I had started drinking when I was like 15 or 16, but it was never serious. I drank like every other kid drinks. And then when I was, 17, 18, 19, whatever the fuck it was. No, it had to be 17 or 18. I started to fall into a real bad depression. And I had clinical depression. I didn't know what that was. I couldn't get out of bed every day. I was convinced I was sick. I was like a hypochondriac. I thought I had cancer. I was always at the doctor. And it got so bad that I couldn't sleep at night. I just could never sleep. So I started drinking to go to sleep. And that was it. I mean, one day I woke up and my hands were shaking so bad. I didn't know what the fuck was happening to me. And I had a drink and it went away. And I said, oh, there's the solution. But now the problem is you got to drink all the time or you're sick all the time. So I wound up becoming a severe alcoholic. And that's why, at 19 years old, I was given an ultimatum by my girlfriend. I tried to stop. I had the seizure. I was put in a medically induced coma and all that. Now, during that time, somewhere in there, I'm not sure exactly where, when I was selling cocaine, I was sitting at home one night drinking, watching Scarface. I had people coming in and out of my house I was selling coke to. I'm watching Scarface for the first time in my life. And I thought, fuck it. And I broke out some coke on a CD case and I did a line and I fell in love, man. Holy shit, did I fall. The drain, the numbness, everything. I fucking loved it. And, I wound up having, both those issues. And once I got out of the hospital, they wanted me to do inpatient rehab. I wouldn't do it, but I agreed to outpatient rehab. And I stayed clean for about a year. We had a daughter, me and my girlfriend. So I stayed clean, but every now and then, here and there, You know what I mean? And then I was done with cocaine from like 1999 till about 2005. Well, I was a DJ. I DJ'd for a living. I had a DJ business and I DJ'd in hip hop clubs and stuff. And a friend of mine needed to borrow some of my equipment. So I let him borrow my equipment and he broke one of my turntables, fucking guy, while he was doing it. Now, luckily, I had a spare set, so I was good. And plus, one of them was still okay. I only needed two, so I was all right. But he gave me like a couple of jars, like an 8-ball in each. He was like, bro, I'm still going to pay you for the shit I broke, but this is just for letting me. He was up there. You know what I mean? He was like, just for letting me use it. He gave me this Coke. And I said, wow, I haven't done this in years. And I went back with my girlfriend to the crib and we fucking did some Coke. And, it turned out to be a freakier night than usual because cocaine does that to you. And I fell in love again, man, And eventually me and her wound up breaking up and we had a kid together. And because I loved our family so much and I was so brokenhearted by the fact that, there was going to have to be a custody agreement. I wouldn't be with my daughter every day anymore. I just lost it and right back into severe alcoholism. I mean, I started drinking every day hard liquor and doing cocaine. Even when I was working, I would do Coke. I'd go in the bathroom and do a couple of lines. I'd take Coke with me. And I was getting so much of it because I was selling so much. It never cost me a thing. I could snort an 8-ball a day and it didn't cost me $1. So eventually something bad happened and I wound up having to be, I guess you could say, forcefully hospitalized. And while I was there, I was medically detoxed. I got out. I stayed. Listen, it's not necessary to tell you my whole life story, but basically around 2008 or so, I started working a very good job in a factory. I was doing great. I was raising my daughter, and me and her had she was with me week on, week off. So I had a nice apartment for us and stuff. And around 2012, I lost that job and I loved that job so much. It's just what's in me, the way I'm built. Like you are who you are. And in my mind, when there's money struggles, there's one answer and it isn't necessarily a job. I always knew how to make money selling drugs. So I thought, well, I got a couple of thousand saved up. I don't know if I'll be able to find a job as good as that one. So while I'm looking, let me go grab a couple ounces of Coke, a pound of weed, and hit the streets, and it didn't take long, full-blown addict again, And then in 2014, I went to the store and I got cigarettes and I was running back to my house. It was a block from my house. And all of a sudden, it felt like there was concrete in my lungs. And I just hit the fucking concrete, I just hit the ground. And a friend of mine, Chris, he saw me. He was out on his porch. And he ran over and checked on me and I couldn't breathe. So he called an ambulance. They rushed me to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 10 hours. They didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me. They thought maybe I had Lyme's disease. They didn't know. So finally a cardiologist comes in 10 hours later and he says, well, let's give him an echocardiogram. And they did. And I'll never forget the woman that was doing the echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of your heart. She said to me, she was like this while she was using the thing and checking, taking the pictures and stuff. And she said, I've been doing this 20 years and I do echocardiograms on 95-year-olds and I've never seen a heart in this bad a condition in my life. And I said, oh shit. Now, heart problems run in my family on my mom's side. So, when you already got that in your family, just some advice, adding massive amounts of cocaine and liquor to it, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's bad. Well, that's what I did. And I got diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Which my mom had, I had 10 to 15% heart function. I could not walk. I tried to walk in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I couldn't walk. I would insist that they let me get out of bed and try to walk at least with a walker. Couldn't do it. And I realized, the last time I tried to walk in the hospital, I said, that's it. Like I'm bedridden. I can't do any fucking thing. But I still insisted on being able to move around and they wanted to keep me in bed. So I signed myself out against medical advice. I went home. It was so bad that I would try to take a shower. I'd have to crawl from my bedroom to my bathroom. And I would try to take a shower. I'd have to lay on the floor of the shower and wash myself because I didn't have I couldn't stand when your heart's that weak, you can't function, you know? So, wait a minute. Oh, anyway, no politics, guys. Addiction recovery. So anyway, I had a neighbor. I started to get a little bit better, you know, with the medicine they were giving me, and I got to the point where I could walk a little bit, but I needed a cane. So I asked my neighbor. She had a son who was a veteran, and he had moved away. I said, you know, do you still? Because he used to walk with a cane. Do you still have it? She said, yeah. So she gave me the cane, and I started walking. I insisted on getting up and walking every day. And I'd walk as much as I could until I could walk around my block, and then until I could walk around my block twice, and then 3 times until I could walk around the whole neighborhood. And I started doing better. My ejection fraction, which is basically your heart function, 20% or something. And I was able to function somewhat normally, but I was at constant risk for cardiac arrest. So right here, I don't know if you could see it. There's a little lump right there. They gave me a defibrillator, 35 years old, 36, something like that. So I got a defibrillator in my chest, well, under my arm here. And, you know, I didn't quit. It didn't even slow me down. I had a heart surgery. I fucking, I got the Percocet. I sold them. I wouldn't take them, but I went right home after the heart surgery. I did a couple of lines, and I had my neighbor, JC, because I couldn't drive because I'm all sewn up here. So I couldn't, you know, couldn't drive. But I needed to make runs. I was still selling coke. I had my neighbor JC drive me all around the city and drop coke off. It was a Friday night. I was out of my fucking mind. And I would do lines. I would drink. And eventually in 2016, I got set up by the Drug Task Force. I wound up going to jail for a while, 2016, 2017. And then when I got out, I was clean until about 2018. I found a new connect, like late 2018, I'd say. There's a Puerto Rican cat, and he had weight, and I started getting ounces off him of coke, and I started doing it. And at one point, because of probation and all this other horse shit, county parole technically, I was staying in a hotel for a while. So I'm selling coke and crack out of the hotel, and I'm drinking myself stupid. And something real bad took place in my life in June of 2019, and I just decided I wanted to die, you know. So I was eating like bags full of Ativan. It was insane, and drinking. And I'd go to sleep every night hoping that I don't wake up in the morning. And every day when I woke up, I was pissed off. You know, I didn't want to live anymore. And then there were some other guys in the hotel that were selling drugs too. And one of them at some point introduced me to this girl. She was stunning. When I tell you, it's one of the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my fucking life. She was younger. She was like 20, something like that. I was like, you know, I was 30 fucking 9. And she had a drug problem herself. Somehow we hit it off. We wound up spending a week together in the hotel. Well, 4 days. I wake up one day and I'm like, thank you, Mr. Bubbles Tea. Thank you. I wake up one day and she's in bed next to me. Now, when I woke up, I had been in a walking blackout for 4 fucking days. I had no idea. All I know is I woke up in this bad bitch in my bed. I'm like, wow. But I was so sick from alcohol withdrawal and just, you get those cocaine blues, you know. I had been snorting coke and drinking for 4 days straight. I passed out. I wake up next to her and she tells me, yeah, it was Thursday. She said, we've been together since Monday. I'm like, what? So I ask her, do we have sex and all? She tells me, yeah. And she's, I see a coffee pot in the sink. I'm like, what the fuck is with the coffee? Oh, you gave me an 8-ball, a fish scale. I cooked it up. You said it was okay if I smoked it. So she smoked an 8-ball. I'm like, what the fuck happened? There's pizza boxes in her room. She's telling me I ordered pizza. All this shit went on in a 4-day period. And I was so sick from withdrawal. I just couldn't take it. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I need you to help me. I got to get help today. I have to. Tomorrow's going to be too late. And she called some places and she called crisis intervention, and they eventually called me back. They told me they had a place for me. It was called the Ranch. It was a shitty place, but that's where they had a bed for me. Well, luckily, a couple hours later, they called me back and they said, listen, we don't have that bed after all. We thought there was an available bed and there's not. They said, but you hit the jackpot. We're going to send you to this place called Clarity Way in Hanover, PA. And they said, Chris, you can't miss out on this opportunity. This place is like, you literally hit the jackpot. I didn't know what he meant. He told me you got till midnight to be there. Well, I had money people owed to me for coke and shit. And I wasn't leaving without my money. So I waited till everybody came to the hotel and paid me. And then around 1 o'clock in the morning, I got there. My mom took me to the rehab. And this place was fucking amazing, man. This place was like those places you see on TV late at night, like Promises Malibu and stuff. This place was owned by them. And it was by Promises. And it was a fucking luxury. It was $55,000 a month to be there. And luckily I was in a union. I had good insurance, but they only gave me 3 weeks. Every fucking week, the doctors have to fight with my insurance company to let me stay. They wanted to fly me to California to a regular rehab and keep me for 60 days. They said it would be cheaper than keeping me for another 3 weeks and the one I was in. So they had, every week you get deep tissue massages. They had the Tai Chi. They had meditation. They had the gym. They had the little movie room. They had basketball courts, tennis courts, walking trails. It was amazing. It was amazing. Gourmet food. You got a chef that cooks 2 meals a day. Unbelievable place. And I loved it so much that I stayed. I think anywhere else I probably would have left. But this place was like, there wasn't rules like that. You could have your phone, you could have a laptop, an iPad, whatever you want, because it's all rich people. The only other person that was there that was like me was a woman named Lori, who was a factory worker who also happened to have good insurance. But everybody else was millionaires. I met a guy who was very close with Trump. He was a guy named Greg. He had a whole charitable foundation and all that. Worked on Wall Street for 40 years, multi-millionaire. And I got close with him. There's another woman I got close with named Elaine, same situation, very wealthy woman from Long Island. So anyway, I was a fish out of water there. But there was 13 of us in that group. And I'm the only one that stayed clean and sober. Everybody I talked to, once I left there, I kept in contact with for a couple of years. They all wound up relapsing at one point or another. But I was the only one that went there because I wanted to. Everybody else went there because they were forced by somebody, a boss, an employer, a husband, a wife, kids. None of them stayed clean and sober, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. I will never not be grateful for those 3 weeks I had there. And that was all it took, being away from the streets, being away from coke, being away from alcohol, meeting a different type of people that I never really was around in my life, and the exercise and all the stuff that you get and all the tools you learn in rehab. It was really amazing. And around that time too, I met somebody and I began a relationship after I left rehab and stuff. And 9 months later, I was married to her and we're together till this day, So I started this YouTube channel 4.5 years ago, a little over 4.5 years ago, off a whim. I was at working a factory job and I decided maybe I'll make up a stupid name and I'll fucking to start a YouTube channel and talk about the mob, because there was guys on here from the mob, like guys that ratted, that were in witness protection and stuff like that, that did live streams about the mafia. And I happen to have a lot of knowledge about it because my dad raised me on that shit. So I started a channel with a stupid name, Fat Bald Sicilian, and it worked. I got 1,000 subs in 15 days, 12 days. 3 days later, I was monetized. And like my first 15 days, I made like $4,000. So I said, oh shit, I could do this for a living. And I've been doing it ever since. So I've been able to help some people with addiction, and some people have helped me. They've helped me stay clean and sober, and they helped me stay on track. And, I got a good life. I got a very happy life. The politics shit, listen, even I hate doing it, but it's just things slowed down. For 4.5 years, I made a living doing a certain type of content, and it slowed down with money. So I decided I got to do something else. And the only other thing I'm real knowledgeable about is politics. So, but, I plan on doing these shows at least once a week like I used to. Maybe my wife will join me every now and then. She's a nurse, so she's worked in addiction and recovery most of her life. She's an expert in the field, I guess you could say. And, that's it. And I hope a lot of you guys start joining these shows more often. Let me see how many people talk shit.
Is that right, Dion? Wow. Good for you, man. Glad we can come together under the umbrella of pain and recovery. Keep the energy next time you want to call us names on the political show. Love you, bro. I'm out. All right, Adam. Same to you, bro. I hope you're okay, man. It's better than talking politics. Politics nowadays is getting toxic. Well, that's why today I said, I don't want to do, I did the one show, the politics, and it's the same thing. We're calling each other names. We're not getting anywhere. I thought, let me just do a fucking addiction recovery show because at least there's something positive that comes out of it. The meeting I went to, there was a hierarchy in what kind of gambling you did. So stupid, I never went back. Really? Well, a lot of addictions like that. Like somebody said earlier, alcoholics and ways to act like they're above heroin addicts. It's true. You know what I mean? There's people that do powder. They feel like they're better than people who smoke crack. People who smoke crack feel like they're better than people who do heroin. You know what I mean? Like, my mother had congestive heart failure, and she was lucky. She lived till she was 95 years old before it killed her. Well, I'm glad she lived such a long life. Oh, yeah, you do, Vic, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was getting naltrexone for free and did the same thing, and then I switched to Vivitrol, which is yeah, I knew a girl named Abby that was on Vivitrol. Yeah, it works. People with heart issues, I can't help wonder if it was the shot. They didn't aspirate. Well, we won't get into that, but my heart issues started long before I got it, and it hasn't had any effect. But no politics, guys. No politics. My friend's buddy had congestive heart failure, and I recognized the symptoms and told him what it might be. And he said he had already been diagnosed, but wasn't sick enough for the operation he needed. Wow. Yeah, it's bad stuff. And then yesterday, I got I get an echocardiogram every 2 years. My heart was about 30 to 35%, right? Until 2020. And then I had a surgery called a PVC ablation. And 6 months later, my heart function, it's your ejection fraction, it's called, your left ventricle. It's perfect as like 50 to 55. And what do you know? 6 months after that operation, 50 to 55. Well, then 2 years later in 2023, I did 2023, 2024, whatever. I got one and it was 45 to 50. So it declined. So I'm like, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Well, yesterday I went back for, my next echo, and I was just hoping. I've been doing a lot of exercise and shit like that. I'm like, I feel strong. It's going to be 50 to 55 again. I know it. So it went down again. And now I have another issue apparently related to the heart failure, something that's wrong with my heart. It's progressing, the heart failure, unfortunately. And I'm very young, but did it to myself. There's nobody to blame, So, of course, I'm worried and nervous, and a show like this today helps. Colon cancer is rising in 30-year-olds. Hardened tissue is correlated. Guess what hardens tissue? Fake butter. Really? That's the only butter I eat is fake butter. Addiction is a physical, mental, and emotional malady. There's a spiritual cure. I'm sure for some people there is. That friend had a gallon of wine underneath his desk and sucked it down pretty fast. Jesus. Just make yourself a DNR and join the Final Exit Network. What the fuck is that, bro? What is that? Thank you for this channel. We all need the health talk. Thank you for saying that. I hope something positive came out of it. I hope so. Harsh adolescent adjustment. Yeah, listen, guys, do me a favor before I forget. At the bottom here, scrolling, you see the for the vertical live, it's on the top. For the horizontal, it's on the bottom. The National Addiction Hotline and the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is pretty easy. It's 988. But for the National Addiction Hotline, please write this down and listen. If you guys go to nextdistro.org and fill out a little thing and watch a video, it takes 5 minutes. You can get 4 free Narcan sent to you. And do it. Please do it. Me and my wife did it. We always have Narcan on us. I've been in a situation. I was in a situation at my job once where a guy OD'd in his car and Narcan saved his life. So if you would like to have it, you can get it free on nextdistro.org. Pennsylvania is beautiful. Yeah, it's all right. Damn, I'm about to walk out the door, and here you go with your story. Sit the fuck down. Listen to Street Smart Politics Talk. Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the story. Chris, do you have carvedilol or lisinopril? Especially lisinopril will be where the side effects cause a short-term memory loss, and a water pill. You can pick one that will be easy on the kidney. Is that right? Well, I'm on carvedilol and lisinopril. I'm trying to get onto Entresto, but it's very expensive still, even though they made a generic now. That would get me off the lisinopril, but no, I'm on lisinopril, and I take furosemide as far as Lasix. But that's funny you said that, because my short-term memory, they make fun of me on the politics shows, but guys, you could ask these people that have been with me for years. My short-term memory is shit. I get distracted so easy, and then I forget what the fuck I was talking about. You guys have all seen it. Admitting crimes, even old ones, is not a good idea. Well, listen, I tell my story on here, and where I live, everybody's fully aware of what I've done, and I've done my time and all that shit, and I'm better. I've turned my life around. I left the crowd I used to run with for the most part. There's one or two people I still hang out with sometimes, but I left my old crowd behind, and I don't do shit. I mean, I go out as often as I can, but I'm generally home before it even gets dark. I don't even go out at night because I just cops, you know what I mean? Even when you're not doing anything wrong, cops worry me. I don't know. And I just want to be home with my family, so I raise my stepkids, and I think I'm a pretty good husband to my wife. And that's it. I have a daughter who's 25. She's doing very well. So I lost my mom, and that was the biggest heartbreak in my life. So this room I'm in, a lot of people like to say you're in a basement because they see this wall behind me. If you look at my old videos, I used to be in more of like a studio in a room downstairs in my house, but this was my mom's room. Me and my wife had already lived together, and it's our house, my wife's house, really. She had it before I even came along. And then my mom, she broke her ankle, and she was either going to wind up in a nursing home, but she was either going to have to stay there or go somewhere where, there's where she's not alone. She had an apartment. She lived alone. So she moved in with us, and she was in this room for like 6 years. She passed away in June. And after she passed away, I started fixing up the room a little bit. And a couple of months ago, I decided I just want to move in here. I want to be in this room. It makes me feel a little better. So I moved the shit up here, and that's why there's nothing on the wall behind me or anything. I'm just, and then the room I used to use, my wife turned into a crochet room, and she's chilling down there. AA is very cultish. And this guy we called Farmer Josh was the funniest person ever. Instantly said, are we sacrificing goats and shit? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Vic. Yeah. Super cool decisions, dude. Why are you not in prison? How many kids did you sell dope to, you piece of shit? I never sold drugs to kids. Most drug dealers never have. That's just some old Nancy Reagan type scare tactic shit. Are you on carvedilol? Oh, yeah, that I answered. Yeah, I probably should someday check the side effects. War, new member. Thank you, War. Why does it show up twice? I don't know. What makes me pee like there's no tomorrow? It's prune bark tea. It's a diuretic too, and stinging nettle tea too. Really? It's not an obsession, bro. It's not an obsession. It's no different than what you guys do. I just do it on YouTube. People talk politics. It's the world we live in, and especially now, more so than ever, everybody talks politics. It's not something you could ignore anymore. But I happen to be pretty knowledgeable about it. I know you guys don't believe it, but and that's something I could do on YouTube to make a living, so I do. Fuck you. You should be in prison. Don't be a victim. You made your own decision. What a piece of crap you are. I hope your daughter is a rock star in spite of your ignorance. All right, Joe, whatever you have to say. It's all right. Does that make you feel better, bro? You unhappy with your life? I did my time, bro. I'm good. Never sold drugs to kids. Fucktard. Drug dealers don't sell drugs to kids. How am I stuck on my What do you mean? I got kicked to the curb. My girlfriend of 8 years for drinking. Then I had an even better girlfriend and picked up again. My wife divorced me partly for drinking before all that. I'm sorry to hear that.
I sold meth to racist Republicans, not a single regret. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one about recovery, sir. Anytime, Dion. You could email me at my email. Funny name, fatbalditallion@gmail.com. We all got history. We do. Death-dealing junkie almost died on supply. Can't have good advice. I sold powder cocaine, bro. Nobody ever died from my drugs. Calm down, Caleb. Street Smart Politics, those of us who need to hear it can fill those blanks in, but you know that. No, I know. Christopher Welty, what's up, bro? What's up, brother? You hit your bottom. Only way out is up. You made the right choice this time. Thank you, man. Thank you. Caleb, we cure what's wrong with ourselves and pass that on to others. It is true. All right. Being involved in the sale of narcotics without being in a financially fucked situation is evil, but trying to survive being deep in poverty is a gray area. Well, listen, I'm not proud of my past. I'll tell you that much. And I don't make excuses. I was never in a situation where it was my only choice. It's just like anything else. It's easy money, you know. And anybody who tries to talk shit, I mean, listen, I guarantee all of you did something wrong, right? I mean, and for the politics people, I mean, we got a guy that pardoned the guy who trafficked 500 tons of cocaine into our country. So, listen, nobody's innocent. There's a third them on this channel called MobTube Theme. Maybe you meant to say FBS gets a lot of trolls from that. Yeah, I do. I'm glad you recovered, but Biden or Kamala makes no sense. All right, I got you, man. Thanks. I can relate, brother. I'm 5.5 years sober from alcohol and coke. Congratulations, Nick Rock NY. That's dope, bro. That's great, man. I can't wait to hit 7 years in June. It almost seems impossible to me, you know. Thank you, Kevin Spencer. I appreciate it. And in reality, I'm a monster. I mean, look at this face, but doing better than I was. But he is a bully hater. I don't feel one bad sorry for this loser. You made your bed, now sleep in it. Pathetic loser. All right, Joe. He is a bully hater. Who, me? Who are you talking about? Because I'm a bully hater. That's right. That's right, bro. Definitely. I told myself one thing while I was in there. I made a little promise to everybody, to myself. You know, I just said it to myself that I don't know when I'm going to die, but I know when I do, I'm not going to have anything in my fucking system. It's not going to be from drugs. It's not going to be from alcohol. I mean, of course, it could be the effects of what I did in my past, but I'm going to be clean and sober when I die. I know that. Yeah, I just want to know what Americans feel about this. It appears you're about to become the new German. Another show, bro. Another show. Oh, Stephen Veach. Yeah, fucking YouTube sucks, bro. I dislike your politics, but I congratulate you on your progress. I pray you keep at it, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, listen, this is a subject where we can put that shit aside, you know. At least I hope. Now I feel terrible busting his balls about politics. No, don't. I'm a prick, bro. Nobody should feel bad busting my balls about politics. It's what we do, man. It's what we do. But the truth is, guys, if there, I'm nobody, but if there's ever anything I could do to help anybody, I would do it in a heartbeat, regardless of your political beliefs, I mean, there's some things I could do, I'm very good at research. So like, if anybody was ever in a desperate situation and they don't have anybody to maybe find a facility for them and find funding for it or something, I could help with that, If anybody ever needs transportation and you're within a reasonable distance, like a couple of states, if that's what it takes to get you to detox, I'll do that. That's why they call it spirits. Ours are gone when we're using. They are. Respect from a man stuck in the streets and currently in a bad mental state. Your story is inspiring. Thank you, man. I'm sorry you're in that situation. I hope you find a way out of it. It's not easy, man. That's the most addictive thing. I still get fucked up because I'm not used to this. Like, even after I've been living in the suburbs now with my wife for years, but still it's fucking boring to me. There's There's not a minute in my day where I don't want to be back out in the streets. You know what I mean? I love it. The fun, the action, the risk, the adrenaline rush, but can't do it no more. Thank you, Lisa and Ross. Thank you. I had Tai Chi, meditation, yoga, weightlifting at one posh rehab, also with a bunch of rich kids, also forced to be there. Yeah, well, luckily for me, I chose it, but I found out later about that place they were going to send me to. Oddly enough, it's like a couple of miles from where I wound up living. And that place is like jail. My wife told me, like, you can't fucking have phones. You get 2-week blackout where you can't even call anybody. I would have walked right the fuck out. So believe me, maybe the universe, I don't know, helped me. Something worked in my favor, because I honestly think that if I didn't wind up at the exact rehab I did, I wouldn't be clean and sober today. It's like everything, like the stars aligned, everything worked out perfect. And the people that have been with me for years, they know more about my story, and it's actually a little bit more fascinating than what I've told you, but I don't like to get into certain things anymore. Stay teachable, sir. Whatever is green grows, whatever is ripe rots. I like that. I will, Dion. Same to you. So what are you going to do in 3 years when Trump is gone? You'll have no content left. Well, I'm doing addiction and recovery content right now. I did content for 4.5 years without talking about Trump. And look at you now, bro. The gifts of recovery are endless. Christopher, it's true. It's true. I mean, somebody sent me a video. It's so funny. After I decided to do an addiction recovery show today, somebody sent me a video through my email, and it was Bradley Cooper talking about, I didn't even realize he was an alcoholic, and it was him talking about sobriety. It's the best thing in the world. Do you know how fucking grateful I am to wake up in the morning and know what I did the night before? My wrists aren't hurting because I was in handcuffs the night before. I didn't find out I got in a fight, or I left all my shit at a nightclub somewhere. I mean, it's amazing. I will write Trump love letters just for you, James. Julianne Fry. No, thank you. Thank you for listening. Dude, I hate this channel, but you just won me with this story. Well, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, man. I'm not a bad guy, believe me. And you probably aren't either. We just disagree on shit, Hopefully there'll be a day where it's not so goddamn divided. Oh, good. No politics today. Finally, a positive show. Yes, bro. Yes. I'll tell you what, man, if you people really join that often, I'll start doing these a lot more often, because they're very important to me. I'm a Sicilian American in recovery as well. That's awesome, Paisan. Good for you, bro. That's great. I suggest make more content like this and stay out of the politics. Well, the only problem is I need to make a living. You know what I mean? And I don't ask for money on these shows, like donations. I don't feel right about it. Like, I always want these to be free. If people donate, of course they can. I'm not going to tell them not to, but I don't ask for it, So I got to do something that makes me money. Well, listen, you got to break from it for a little while. T. Slay and Fusari, whatever your name is. I feel with the wrong. Oh, you fell in with the wrong kind of people who don't like when you say you don't want to be a part of that anymore, and got really deep into that life. I hear you, bro. Well, listen, I truly hope you the best. I wish you the best. I do, man. I think you'll be okay someday. You and I are brothers in the struggle. No doubt, man. I'm not a God guy, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic. I'll have 10 years sober on 8/1/26. Just got 1 year from smoking cigarettes. My significant other has 13 years of sobriety, April 21st, I think. That's awesome, Melissa. Good for you. That's awesome. Congratulations. 10 years is great. Got to go where the hustle is. There's not many super chats or cash apps doing addiction recovery. Yeah, and I'll never ask for money on these shows. JGB 799, enjoying the stream, sending a super chat. Thanks, bro. They don't have to, though. I take way too much gabapentin and I'm fucking worried. Yeah, me too. How much you take a day? I take 900 a day. How much you take? I'm trying, Dion, and that fucking news yesterday really had me down, but I just refuse to stay down. I won't sit around and feel sorry for my fucking self. I gotta live life. But yesterday, man, I was in rare form. If you saw my show, I did my MobTube show. I was like damn near bouncing off the walls because I got this burst of energy. Like, I felt like, okay, it's time to start living, like doing everything I want to fucking do. Cause you never know now. This shit is progressing. I can't ignore it. I got to start doing everything I want to do. Penner's Pancakes, California 279. Politics disagree, but totally relate on heart. Thank you, man. Thank you very much for that. No, I know what that means, but what did you mean about some action thing or something? I didn't know what you meant. Stress will kill you faster than anything. Got to stay peaceful. That's the spiritual aspect of recovery. I know. Well, that's why, guys, believe me. If I didn't have to do those politics shows and even the other shit I do, I wouldn't. But, you know, going back to building Harley Davidsons isn't exactly, you know, something I'm looking forward to. So I got to make this YouTube thing continue to work. The Penguin hasn't been able to afford his suit and monocle yet. What does that mean, cynical bastard? Thank you, Monster Courting Insanity. I like that name. It's always a victory when you face a challenging life event and didn't drink. Oh, for real. But when my mom passed, I mean, I didn't think. It's a fucking miracle that I didn't. But I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know, doctor did help me. You know, put me on something for depression that helped a lot. LOL, cop harassing people even when they're not doing nothing. I was at the fair with my kids. A cop called me out by name. My heart dropped. He was like, "How you been?" I said, "Obviously good, good. Haven't seen you." Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I just don't like, you know, unfortunately, I'm still in a small town. You know, these cops know me. And no matter how long you stay out of trouble, that you're always the same to them, you know. You'll be much better off doing this content, not politics, better for your health. I know, but you know, like I said, the money thing is the issue. Yeah, short-term memory loss may be used to wet brain. I have been experiencing it. Day 3 of withdrawal and not sleeping for 2 days. I think I may have started having DTs every time I had my eyes. Well, Jesus, Josh, closed trying to sleep. Wow. Sorry to hear that. I asked my wife that. She said, I don't have it. I said, is there any chance I got wet brain? She said, no. Who in this chat without blemish, let this guy heal. In the process, we can all heal. Good advice. I don't know. Some people can't, you know, I understand, you know. Listen, I dish it out. I got to be able to take it, you know. Him and I are on complete opposite ends of the political spectrum, but I can relate on all of this. This content is much better. Thank you, bro. I'll tell you what, man, if you ever want to, if you go to my channel and you look at my playlists or something, I got tons of these addiction recovery shows, man. And I interviewed some celebrities, you know, from Sopranos and different movies and shit who had addictions. At the end of this, I'll play what I usually play as my intro. I'll play it as an outro too. I played it in the beginning of the show. You'll see some celebrities and stuff in the interviews. Everyone on here has dirt. Don't kid yourselves. Of course, everyone in life in general. A lot of addicts need to support their habit by selling off and or burglary. Yep. This looser. What do you prefer? Tighter? Juliana's funny, right? When they say that. Did you sell Robert F. Kennedy Jr. his toilet seat cocaine? That's fucking funny. He said I sniffed cocaine off of a toilet seat. RFK said that. Like, wow. Health and Human Services, huh? Only one innocent person ever. I had 11 years in active addiction, 7 years homeless, 13 and a half years clean and sober by God's grace. Congratulations again, bro. Maybe stay out of politics and talk your sobriety and quit touching. Come on. You ain't got to say stuff like that, Zach. You are a confirmed prick on politics, but this content is great. Keep this going. Thank you, man. Well, just like I hate you guys and you hate me when it comes to politics, I bet you damn near about something else we'd get along well. Life is full of so I'm going to try to figure out, hopefully, a way that maybe I could do those politics shit things. So maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's things we could actually agree on instead of the fucking name calling back and forth. Yeah. Well, I told my wife the other day, you know, I got a lot of time and I'm very lucky. I've been able to make a good living on YouTube for years. I should go learn a trade or something. I should, because with AI taking everything over, you're going to need one. My buddy showed me his scars from the handcuffs yesterday, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I woken up where I'm like, oh no. My fucking wrists are killing me. And then I got to look at call people. What happened last night? Did I get arrested? Got to call the police station. The political content is important. The left needs more aggressive messengers. See, I think so too. That's why I do it, because it is. It's thank you. No, thank you, Melissa. It's because, I don't know. We'll get into that on a politics show, but I believe it's important to stand up for what you believe. Christopher Welty, $4.99, great show. Thank you, sir. Dion, you're actually an awesome person, politically ass backwards, but a true inspiration. Thanks, bro. Same to you. Same to you. I quit GABA. It used to be a good feeling, but it made my thinking fuzzy. 900 at a time, the lowest dose considered for recreation. Holy shit, 900 at a time. Wow. I knew a girl named Sierra that used to do that. When she couldn't get dope, she would take 900 at a time. What's wrong with your heart? I just had a stress test. It was good, and I have an echo on the 23rd. I was worried because my heart rate would spike when standing up. Yeah, I got the congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, all that shit. The political talking about debating MAGA is like 6 competing is crazy. They usually debate people online, and it's getting crazy. MAGA is crazy. They don't have to. Oh, yeah. I know an ER nurse that was in hospice with wet brain but recovered. Wow, really? Holy shit. I've had cops congratulate me because I got my shit together. I never had that, but you never know. Someday, maybe I'll run into that drug task force and I'll say, good job, Chris. I doubt it, though. The drug task force, they don't like me. After sobering up within a couple of years, I literally found out I am diabetic and I have arthritis in my hips and a lot of mental health issues. Sorry to hear that, but isn't it funny how those things you don't even know until you get, that's another problem. It does make it hard to get clean and sober because all that damage you did to yourself, it's like getting in a car wreck. When you're in shock, you don't even feel the pain till later. It's what it is. The scary thing about addiction is you don't know what you're doing to yourself, and you might not find out until long after you quit, but you just got to deal with it because what's the alternative? Keep using and make it worse. There was an episode of Intervention once with a father who was an alcoholic, and he used to dry heave and throw up constantly from withdrawal and everything. And he was in bad shape. And, his son was interviewed, and his son said, I just want my dad to be able to make it to one of my basketball games. Well, his dad got clean and sober, made it to one of the basketball games, and died. He had esophageal cancer, whatever it is, from the heaving and all that shit. So, but he made it to one game, but he only lasted 2 months. Sobriety has made you think your farts don't smell. You still suck. Thanks, biggest complainer. Thank you. I feel like I haven't changed much, unfortunately, but others see the changes that I don't see it. Oh, well, that's because we don't look at ourselves from the outside, like other people do. Same here, I have people tell me I'm a different person now. It's like, really? I feel like the same guy. I would totally get along with this dude on literally everything. It does suck, absolutely suck. The politics divide so many people. It does, but I'll tell you what, man, this is exactly what I was hoping would happen on this show. I was hoping I'd get some of you guys in here. I didn't know if it would work. I already said, but my buddy had the SWAT team waiting for him when he drove home because he had a BB gun in his waistband and was falling over in the bar parking lot. God damn. Yeah, Melissa. One thing I can say is take care of your heart, because when the jammer comes and you see the light, you wake up real quick to what is important. Well, I mean, I did literally, like when I was in the hospital and I had 15% heart function, I had a nurse come in and she told me, you straight up, just as bluntly as possible, you're not going to make it until midnight. I fucking went nuts. I told the doctor, don't ever send her in here again. Cause I'm the kind of person that believes that, when you're told something like that, it'll happen. You'll die. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to know, because otherwise it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely going to happen. So I never saw that nurse again, and I was, there's no doubt. They asked me if I want a priest to come in and read me my last rites. I said, absolutely not. But I was dying, somehow I made it. War, me too, man. Same to you, bro. Same to you. Good to hear each other in a good mood sometimes. No doubt, all right. Did she have big boobies? I don't remember, but hopefully. hopefully. That's the problem with being in the hospital. I've been in intensive care a lot, and it just seems like all the nurses are so smoking hot. It's like, what the fuck, man? Why now? Why do they got to see me like this now? To get out of a hole, the first thing is to stop digging. Truism. I met plenty of meanies that said you wouldn't want to have known me when I was drinking and using. Oh my God, what, bro? I told my wife, if you ever saw me drinking, even once, it would either be the end of our marriage or you'd never look at me the same way ever again. I am an animal when I drink. I get very violent, very aggressive, very mean and cruel. Yeah, I've hurt a lot of people, unfortunately. Favorite sports team? Warriors. Nah, you still can. We can fuck with each other, you know what I mean? But it's good we got to know a different side of each other. Near death makes us less judgmental. All nurses are hot. Pretty much, the Jones. Yeah, pretty much. The scrubs just make a woman so fucking sexy. All right, guys, listen, I want to thank you for being here with me. Honestly, it means a lot to me. I didn't know how this would go, but I would like to grow this community. So you guys are welcome anytime. I'll give notice when I'm doing addiction and recovery shows, and I'll let you guys know on the politics shows and stuff when I'll be doing one. And just please write these numbers down and go to nextdistro.org and get your free Narcan. And on the way out, check out what I put together here for the addiction and recovery shows. Some of the interviews I've done, some heartbreaking stories, counselor, some other things. Check it out. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
She did them, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, and I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, and tell her, please stop taking them. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people that never seen her.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of
my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. Never, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
By 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. The damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change. And for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And so if you want a new life and start a new journey of a lifetime, you've come to the right place. You want a drink? That's your business. You want to stop drinking? That's our business. Welcome to Recovery Tube.